Hey guys, Kev here, and I have a very cool flashlight review for you. This is the Jim Skelton designed FocusWorks Cylon. So the Cylon is a brainchild of Jim Skelton, who is a friend of mine. He is a fellow knife reviewer, gear reviewer. He is also a knife maker, and he was a flashlight aficionado, I think, for a little while. I don't know if he's still really into them. When I talked to him, it sounded like he really just had his Cylon and a beater flashlight of some sort. So, you know how we all go in and out of hobbies. And right now, I am balls deep in the flashlight hobby. I have my Overready Boss here, Boss 35. Love this flashlight, carrying this today. And I was really hot into the flashlights for about 2 months there. I was just cranking them out, buying everything I could find, and it's slowed down quite a bit lately. I'm getting some stuff modded now, so to get it the way I like it, and trying to hunt down rarer things and such. So it's slowed down a little bit, but it seems like Jim has gone full circle with that all the way through, and he kind of got to the point where he learned everything he could learn, within reason. He figured out what he liked, all that kind of stuff, which is basically what I'm doing now. And then he figured out what kind of design, what kind of flashlight he would want in his pocket. So he designed it, right? And that's ultimately where a maker's brain like that is going to go. And then he found somebody to machine it, which is FocusWorks. So Jordy over at FocusWorks is a great dude. He actually sent me this to review. So I really appreciate that. They still have some of these in stock at FocusWorks website, which I will link down below. I believe it's focusworksedc.com. They're out of Canada, but they ship to the U.S., no problem. And great customer service, great company, and great machining. And they worked with Jim, and that's how the Cylon was born. So this is a little different than the flashlights that I normally would carry and use. And I'll be honest, I would not carry this flashlight. It's just too big for me. This is an 18650 battery or flashlight. This is an 18350 flashlight. Okay, this is more my style. I'll get you some other examples here. Some stuff you guys may or may not have seen in the flashlight world. These are the two smallest you're gonna get in the 18350 realm. Okay, that's basically half of this battery, right? 18650, 18350, so it's 300 millimeters shorter. So those are small ones. Those aren't the best examples. I'll put this back in my pocket. This is the Hanko Trident, and this is also an 18350. You can see there, a little bit bigger. This is the CWF Tie 2 Pele, same battery size, but again, just a little bit longer, still 18350. And then we have the Okluma DC1 18350. And you can see this thing is bigger than all of them. Just give me a second here. I'm going to grab some options that are a little longer. This is a Dawson Machine Craft, used to be La Lima. This is the Ion Slim 14500 battery, but we're getting to that length. He's actually making an 18650 right now. This is a Sundrop from a Gizmo with a 14500 body. And then this is a Haiku from a Gizmo with a 16340 body. So a little bit shorter and fatter there. Okay. And then I should have one or two 18650s laying around. I have my Olight. This is a Baton Pro, in titanium. And roughly, a little bit thinner, a little bit shorter. And that is an 18650, fairly positive. But it's proprietary. There you go, 18650. that in there backwards? Or is that how it goes in? That does not make sense. Double check that. My kid messes with these, but that's not really a good reason. Okay, maybe it does go in backwards. Have I never realized that about it? Olight? Usually the button top part goes towards the head. Okay. Oh, it's an E-switch. Maybe that's why. Anyway, size comparison there. And then I have this Workos TD05. Okay. This might be a 21700, but nope. 18650. Right there. So hopefully you got enough size comparisons there. I just wanted to show you guys, all right? So I will unscrew this and show you the battery. I am using a 18650 rechargeable flat top battery here. I do have a couple of 18650 batteries. I really only have two kinds. This one and this one. One's a Panasonic and one's a, I can't remember, Samsung or something. I would highly recommend the higher output version, just because this is using a drag and driver. You really want the one with a higher max continuous discharge. But if I drop this one in there, tighten it down, no problem, right? So you can use whatever battery you want as long as it's an 18650. It is possible that a button top will work in here. Actually, let's see. Was this a button top? This is that Workos battery. Yeah, button top. Let's see. So that drops in. A little tighter getting it on here. Does tighten down, and it does work. So you can use whatever you want pretty much. Again, I recommend higher max output. Because this is a drag and driver, which is, I believe, a FET type driver. So you can get more power with the higher output. All right. So there's that. Now, I will note that as you saw with the comparison there, this is a little bit of a big flashlight. Even for an 18650, I feel like it's a little large, and I think it's fat. And I think that comes from the fact that Jim designed it with all this crazy milling on it. I mean, look at that. That's basically all added thickness to the body, where if you wanted to keep this slim, you could probably get it a lot thinner than that if you wanted to. You can see the tail switch, how much wider this area is, but he wanted the tritium slots, which, by the way, when you order these, I know, man, there's even a spot there. I know in when they were first available, you were able to order it with tritium installed, so you'd pay extra, and they would install all this tritium in there for you. I'm not sure if that's still possible. You could check the website and see, but yeah, and then you could see this is a, what would it be, a 20 millimeter driver, I think. And then you have that extra ring there, which is really cool that that is how you lock it in. So it actually has a retention ring. I've never seen that before. I could actually just be part of the pill. It could have just been designed with that. Looks like a retention ring, but that's really just the spots to screw and unscrew it. I am not going to mess with it. This is not my flashlight. Jordy was kind enough to loan this to me. I did notice the glow gasket was installed incorrectly. There's a cutout for each secondary light, and only one of them shows through. But it would just need to, you just take this out and then move it. I'm just not going to do it because it's not my flashlight. So you can see there's an O-ring tucked around here for the glass. That's cool. I mean, I like how they did it. It kind of has a place, like it's kind of tucked in to a spot versus just like shoved up against the titanium. But I do prefer when that O-ring is hidden. Like in this case, you can see that black ring. And it works on this light, again, because they added this glow ring, and it kind of just looks cool. But if you look at CWF or Hanko, or even Deadwood, you'll see there's no O-ring, because they found a way to kind of tuck that O-ring into, I guess, a channel that is right up against the bezel. So then the O-ring goes in there, and then the glass goes up against that, but you don't see the actual O-ring. Deadwood would be another example. You can't see that O-ring, and it makes it, in my opinion, a lot nicer when you're putting it together and everything. You don't have to worry about how your O-ring's spreading out and all this stuff, but either way, I do think this looks cool, and if the O-ring kind of matches the gasket or secondary color, that's cool too. The threading on here, so this is a titanium body, and the threading on here is really, really good. I mean, it is buttery smooth. You can hear it, but it's not gritty or anything. It's very smooth, and yeah, it tightens down nicely. Now, machining this is extremely difficult, and that is why this flashlight costs $700, I think, base in titanium, and goes up from there. You can see the intricacy of all of this milling. There's ribs here, there's channels here, there's tritium slots all back here. The clip even is a intricate machining process, the channels through here. And then not only that, you have to get this head fully machined with the crenulated bezel and everything. And it has to line up when you tighten it down. I mean, it's pretty impressive. Now, when you look at it, I can over tighten this. And you can see it'll go past that spot right there. But if you just kind of snug it up, it pretty much lines up perfectly. This is much like a flashlight that is touted, in my opinion, as one of the best in terms of machining, the Reaver Arms Citadel. When you loosen this off, take it off, and then you get it going again. Just got to find the thread. There we go. Tighten it down. When you get it down to tightness, it lines up right there. And it's not loose in any way. I have to break it to get it to start moving. But I did find with this that I can over tighten it. I've tried to keep going and get it to tighten to another, but it will not. So this is where it lines up right here. You got to just kind of get it perfect. And then it's awesome. It's not going to loosen in your pocket. It's not going to do any of that. But it's not exactly like you just crank it down and then it's perfect, because it's not. I don't know if that changes with heat or cold, or, you know, like maybe in the summer this will expand and then it'll line up better. Because I sort of remember when I got it, which was, I don't know, October, or no, it was, I guess it was November. It was still fall. It wasn't doing that, I feel like. I couldn't overdo it, but maybe I wasn't trying. But either way, it's amazing machining. And as long as it's not loose. Like I have another flashlight, the JC Customs Leviathan. It's out for modding, but that one you have to literally tighten it to where it's loose. You know, you have to get it to a point where it's basically just unscrewing to get it lined up, which to me kind of defeats the purpose. It needs to be tight at least. And then if I need to make micro adjustments like with this, I can go tighter or, you know, a little bit looser. That's fine. And then it doesn't actually loosen until I, you know, give it a little crank. So I just want to point that out. I think it's common that you can overextend just slightly. But when it is lined up like this, it's not loose. You know what I mean? Like that's tight right there. And that's perfectly lined up. And then I have to, you know, give it a turn to get it loose. It's not just going to loosen in your pocket, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, I think that's very cool. Now, the switch on this is a McClicky switch, and it has a FocusWorks silicone boot cover. And I do want to say, I don't like these covers. Now, that's going to be subjective to everybody, so just take it with a grain of salt. I wish that the switch kind of covered more of the back area here. Like, you can just see that whole O-ring. It's kind of sitting in the center. It'd be cool if it was fatter or something. That's just my thought on that. It does tail stand. And it's very soft. I'm not a fan of the soft switches. I swap everything to these Okluma switch covers, and they just have a little more, you have to push a little harder to get it to go. These are just kind of mushy and soft, and the silicone, I just don't like silicone on them. But the cool thing is that's personal preference, and it would take me about 3 seconds to pop that off, put a new one in, and put the O-ring back in, and I'm good to go. So is that a big deal? Nope. Not for me, but I do think on a light this expensive, it would have been cool to have something that filled that area, or just something maybe a little bit more intricate. Like Hanko has a retaining ring. Nada Beam has this cool circular thing in there. I just think on this level of a flashlight, it would have been cool. This seems like, hey, let's just throw the McClicky in there, you know, which is fine. But, you know, dem's my thoughts. So if we're looking at the driver here, or the LEDs, this I believe has Samsung LH351D 5K emitters in it, if I'm not mistaken. I'll show you the packaging because I have it here. It comes in this giant container, which is a little bit wild to me. I feel like they could have cut this in half, because when you open it up, I mean, I get it. It's an experience. When you open it up, the flashlight is in here in this really nicely cut foam, right? But that's it. I mean, if you pull this out, like, it just seems odd that it's so big. Again, it's not like a problem. It's fine. It's cool, actually. But I would think for shipping purposes and such, storage, inventory, you would want to shrink that down a little bit. They could have put it in a regular one, but I think the whole point of this flashlight is it's not regular. It's Jim Skelton. So it's wild, you know? So here's a card from Jordy. Definitely check him out. He has all types of flashlights. One of my favorites is the F2 that I have. He just released the F2 Flex, which is a 10-440 size, but it also comes with an extension tube so that you can put the, whatever the extra long 10-440, 10-8 something can go in there, and then you get more battery life out of that. It's just a longer pen light almost. It's very cool, just released. And then we have a card here about the Cylon. Let's read this because I haven't. Thank you for choosing the Cylon as your new EDC light, a joint venture between Skelton Bladeworks and FocusWorks EDC. The Cylon is the first in a series of radical lights that showcase the unique design ideas by Jim Skelton and the machining mastery by Jordy Wallace. Over 3 years in development, the Cylon has come to life with incredible machine details, powerful drivers, and an intense number of radiant tritium locators. Each light is finished by hand, and every tritium vial is legally sourced from Switzerland, imported via license and installed by hand in a clean room environment by Glow Rhino. We hope that you love your new EDC light as much as we love bringing it to life. There you go. I don't think they've done another one. Said it was a series of lights, but maybe that's coming. So if you look at the website, this actually has a dragon driver in it. Actually, we can just look at the driver. So this has a CWF dragon in it, but then you'll see it says FocusWorks, and then it says YDE. YDE is Yellow Day Energy, which is another Canadian flashlight company. He also makes fidgets and stuff. Very similar companies, I guess. And then FocusWorks. So I don't know if Charles worked with Chris and Jordy and made this driver, but basically it's like the traditional Dragon V3, which I have right here. But it has some differences. And I got to tell you guys, I am not a fan. It's not like, actually, I probably would not buy it solely because of the driver. And I know that's crazy to say because I love the Dragon driver, but it's just weird what they did with it. And I'll show you. Now, this is going to be, again, extremely subjective, really mostly just my preference, and I'll tell you why. When I have a Dragon driver, the reason I love the Dragon driver is I use the secondary light as moonlight. This is my moonlight mode. So I don't think some people understand. They just think, oh, you guys just want cool colors. That's super, gay or whatever. That's not what it is. This is moonlight. So I walk around the house at night with this. I walk around my bedroom at 2 in the morning while my wife's sleeping, and I use this as moonlight so I don't wake her up and so I don't mess up my night vision. And then if I have one that has blue, that's better for, if my wife's sleeping, she has, the blue light doesn't penetrate skin as well. Obviously, you can just use a low primary as moonlight too. And I do that with some lights, right? Some don't have secondaries. But that's why I love the secondary lights. I think it's cool. It's got cool colors. I can get green, blue, right? I can get different colors. It looks cool in pictures. But I actually prefer the color as moonlight. Okay? And then I cycle up from there. So like the way I have this set up is moonlight or low secondary. And then I think it's 5, 15, 35, and 100. Okay? Well, the settings they have on this are just weird. So here's the groups you can have. Now, it has very similar functionality to a Dragon driver. You tap 15 times to get into program mode, and then mode selection 1 is selecting your mode group. 2 is memory. Let's see if I can get to it. 2 is memory. 3 is mode order. 4 is temperature, and 5 is reversing toggle. Now, I hate that word, reversing options, because it sounds like the same thing as mode order. But what they mean by that is you do these half presses, and then it takes you into a strobe, a battery check, and like a beacon mode. I always turn it off. But that's what reverse is. Mode order is where you go, low, medium, high, high, medium, low, right? So the options you have, this is what most people care about, are these. And there's just nothing here that does what I want. Low, secondary, and then give me like 3 options after that, right? So I want a low secondary for moonlight, and then I want a low, medium, high, essentially. Or 4, fine, whatever. So here you have low red, high red, 15, 100. Nope, I don't want the high red. 35, 100, low red. That's the closest one. We'll circle back to that. 25, 45, 100, high. Nope. Moonlight 25, 50, 100. That's what I have set. That's what I would use on this driver. I wouldn't even use the secondary that I love. Okay? Low, high, nope. I'm already out because it's low, high. This is basically every mode, right? But it has the high red I don't need. It has moonlight I don't need because I use low red as moonlight. Low red, high red, 50, 100. Nope. High red, 100. Nope. 25, 80. Nope. Low red, moonlight 35. What? No. Why would I want all moonlight modes, basically, and then one that's like a bit brighter? 35 is actually really bright. But point is, I need 100% in here, right? So the only ones that really make sense are 1 and 2. No, sorry. 2 and, where's it? 4. 2 and 4 are the only ones that really work for me. But 4 means I have to get rid of secondary, which is a mode I love. I want that secondary. Why would I buy a Dragon driver if I didn't want secondary? If you don't want a secondary, you should get a Dr. Jones driver because it's better, other than the fact that it doesn't have secondaries. Now, there are people who just prefer to have options and not have to do everything themselves. So that's where the Dragon makes sense. So I get it. But let's circle back to number 2, because I know what you're thinking. If you're smart, you're thinking, as my buddy Steve would say, chess, not checkers. Now, number 2, 35, 100, low red. So my thinking was, okay, let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We'll do it real quick. Okay. Going to, okay. That was number 2, right? Is that what we wanted? 2? Yeah. So now we have 35, 35, 100, low red. So you're thinking what I was thinking, right? Kev, that has what you want. It has low red, and then it has 35 and 100. Why don't you just select that and then either use memory so that you always have your low red when you want it, or, like I was thinking, why don't you go down here and reverse the mode order? Right? So now we'll do it backwards. So low red is the first option. One, two, three. Okay. So now memory's off. I hate memory. So I'm just going to tell you that right off the bat. I do not want memory because I always want my first mode to be the low moonlight. And even if I have memory, I will never remember to always set it to that. And then I'll walk into my bedroom one day and just blast the room. And I can't do that. Or I'm not a dick. I don't want to do that. So I reversed it. Kev, this is great. Now you have moonlight. Now you got your low red just like you wanted. But guess what? What comes after moonlight now? Because it reverses. It doesn't just let you choose the order. So now I have low, and then I go right to full turbo. And then I go to 35. That doesn't work for me either because I want to be able to cycle through and get higher. Like I want to be able to go, okay, moonlight, and then this. This is the one I read to my kid on. So I want to go to the second mode and read to my kid now, right? But no, if I want to read to my kid, I got to do this. Blast the whole room that I'm sitting in the dark in with her with 100%. It's just, none of these make sense for me. So honestly, number 4 is the only one that works. So let's go back to it. So first we got to turn off the mode order. Okay. And by the way, I have a video on how to program the drag and driver. And yeah, that's basically the same as this. So there you go. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 2, 3, 4. Okay. So now I have moonlight 25, 50, and 100. And that's fine. It actually works. I set it up that way, and I actually have enjoyed the light this way. It just bothers me a little bit that I can't have my low red, you know, because it's in here. I want it. So that's what's frustrating about the drag and driver sometimes is you just don't get the options you want. But I just don't quite understand why they changed the options. Like I get wanting to have, I guess maybe they just wanted to have their own driver with their name on it or be able to say it's a proprietary driver. I'm not sure because to me, the options on the regular V3 Dragon are better, you know, but maybe that didn't exist. Maybe this driver didn't exist then. I don't know. It's just frustrating that why wouldn't you have a low, like there's just that, to me, I think it's just a basic understanding that this is moonlight. And I think Charles would tell you that that's how he designed it, that low red is moonlight. So you don't need to also have a moonlight. That is your moonlight. You know what I mean? But I get it. You want to have that option for people who don't like secondaries. Sure. So this mode group is great. But it would be cool if they had the same mode group with low red. Because that's basically what they did. They took that group and they got rid of the low red and put moonlight in. So if you can't tell, I love my secondary moonlight. And that's really a personal thing. And I'm sorry I harped on that here. Other than that, I think this is a very cool flashlight if you like big-ass flashlights. I mean, it is a hefty boy. This thing weighs a good amount of change. I'm going to go weigh it for you guys. I'm going to guess 6 ounces. 9.1. 9.1 ounces with the battery in there. That's heavy, man. But if you're into 18650 lights, maybe you're used to that kind of weight, you know. It's just like knives. There's people who love big ass knives. You know, if you're somebody who loves this kind of knife came fitted on the table, then you're probably going to love the Cylon, right? It's just that kind of thing. And that's what Jim loves. So that's what he made. And I can respect the shit out of that. So I will add the beam shot stuff at the end here. It's going to be probably very similar to every other, you know, triple dragon I've done. But, you know, I always like to do it. And I think it's going to be good. I mean, ergonomically, it's a big light. So you can get a good hold on this sucker, right? And, you know, maneuver really well. So for that, it's really good. You got good heat dissipation because there's a lot of channels and stuff here. I think a lot of it's aesthetic, but certainly should work for that. You have a copper brass, maybe? I don't know. That if that is a retention ring, then I can't see under there, but I'm guessing it's copper or brass, which means it's going to dissipate heat well for you. And then you just have a big light so you can get up and get away from the head, right? Sure, it heats up just like any other flashlight, right? Like it's already heating up there. Let me get it on high. Heats up. It's getting hot, sure. Oh yeah, it's cooking. It's cooking. But guess what? Can't feel anything back here. If I hold it like this, still can't feel it. That's the one thing with titanium I really like is it kind of concentrates that heat. It pushes it out away from the LEDs or the driver, but it concentrates it up in the head. So yes, that is bad. It's worse in the sense of aluminum because aluminum will spread. It'll keep spreading that heat back, and you'll feel that. You'll feel it back here after a while in aluminum. But in titanium, it stays up here, which is good for you holding the light. Now, long term, if you left the light on for a long time on turbo, I think aluminum would win out probably because it would be spreading the heat out and be less likely to fry anything, where the titanium is eventually, that heat is going to be too much in that area, right? So it's good and bad, right? I prefer titanium. But yeah, I mean, they make these in copper, which, oh my God, I don't know how much that thing has to weigh 20 ounces or something. They also make them in zircotite and other cool materials. So if you're into big boy flashlights, I think you're going to like this one. I personally don't love the driver, the way they set it up, but you know what? To each their own, obviously. They co-developed that driver on purpose. So they obviously had good reasons for that. They're not just, you know, trying to change things for no reason. It just doesn't work for me is all. So let me know what you guys think. This is a one that's been around a while. I feel like it's sort of a legend in the community. I don't see them a whole lot. I mean, I'm guessing that's partially because they're expensive, partially because a lot weren't made. Yeah, I'd be curious to hear everybody's thoughts on this light. I want to thank Jordy over at FocusWorks for letting me check this out. I really appreciate it. It was an absolute blast getting to handle this and use it. And, you know, I carried it, you know, once or twice around the house just to get a feel for it. It is a beast. The clip isn't bad. In my double seam pants, it didn't do too well. But in normal pants, it popped right in and out. No problem. So, nice milled clip, too. The cool thing is Jim is from the knife world. So he knew how to design a clip. A lot of clips on flashlights are absolute dog shit. So, yeah, I think that about covers it, right? I appreciate it. Stay tuned for the beam shot footage, and I love you guys. Hope you have an absolutely fantastic day, and I'll catch you later. Hey guys, Kev here, and I have the Cylon flashlight from FocusWorks. So I'm going to do this a little differently. I usually go outside and, you know, with these triple emitter flashlights, they're really mostly floodlights for indoors. And so I thought it might be better to show you what it looks like inside. Plus it's cold out and I was kind of thinking, hey, maybe it's better to just do it here. So anyway, this is the Cylon. This has a glow gasket in it. And this is moonlight mode. So this is group 4, which has moonlight. Is it 4? Yeah, I think it's 4. So moonlight. Everything always looks brighter on camera, but it's basically doing what moonlight should do, you know? Maybe a little brighter than that, but for reference, I have my Boss 35 here. This is what that looks like on moonlight, which is a little amber secondary. My low is this, which is way brighter than that. But this is my moonlight, and yeah, pretty much compare them here. If we kick this off, right, and then switch, I think it's pretty close. I mean, it's different, of course, but it's pretty close. Let me grab a flashlight that I have with moonlight mode. Now, this does not have triple emitter. This is my Ion Slim from Dawson Machine Craft, but it does have a moonlight that I could set the brightness on, which is what I really like about Dr. Jones' driver. That has the Dragon driver, but then you can't have secondaries. But anyway, a little bit dimmer, more direct, because, you know, you have a reflector in there and not a triple emitter. But I just kind of wanted to show that moonlight comparison, because that might be one thing people have questions about. So that's moonlight. Let's switch on over to the next mode right here. So this is, I believe, what is this, 15, I think, 15%. So you can see room is lighting up. I could see in here if I needed to, but it's not like overly bright or anything like that. Pretty sure we have Samsung LH351D emitters in here, probably 5K. They are decent. We're gonna get a little bit of green tint. It looks worse in the video. It's not really like that in person. Stepping up here, I think we're at 35 now. And the room is definitely brightening up. This would probably be as much as I really need in real world use indoors. Then you have 50%, which is, again, pretty bright. The flashlight's starting to heat up a little bit, but no problem or anything. Can hold it. And it'll run for a long time on this 18650. Let's see, I think we have one more in us. No, that was 100%. My bad. And that's pretty good for 100%, I think. I mean, if I shine it at the ceiling, I'm like, it's like daylight right near me. The other side of the room is a little darker, but I mean, it's really good in my opinion. And we can compare that to, let's say, whoa. Oh, must have a, that was weird. I just set it down. Huh. You can cycle by setting it down. Interesting. It's not a reverse clicky. That was interesting. So let me do it calmly here. Okay. It's going to turn it off. So in my pocket, I have my Boss 35. And again, this is going to be low, which I set. Medium. High, and then I do have a turbo. This is turbo. I do have a narrow optic in here, as you can see, but yeah, I mean, it's not getting crazy bright in here or anything. It's actually pretty, you know, definitely not crazy. I thought this flashlight was one of my brighter ones, and I would say this Cylon is well and away brighter than that. I mean, look at that. It's a beast. And I think it has more of a floodier optic in there, but still, I mean, that is really good. We can grab another light here with a Dragon driver. So here's my Hanko Trident. I'll grab that. We'll compare that. But again, I'm pretty sure this Cylon, I think, puts out a little more power, maybe because it's an 18650. So here we go. And we're getting up there. I think that's probably 100%. I can try one more. No, that was it. Man, it makes me feel like my other lights are underpowered. So that thing is an absolute beast. This is full power with a Dragon V3 driver. So that is very cool. So there you go, guys. That is the beam test, I guess you want to call it. The just function testing of the Cylon, and it is an absolute monster. Now, the LH351Ds are probably some of the brightest LEDs you can get. So that's part of it too. But yeah, really cool. There you go. Thanks for checking out the video. Love you guys. Check out FocusWorksEDC.com if you're interested in the Cylon or any of their other really cool flashlights. Catch you guys later. Peace.